This is the first question, and in this question the user will enter numbers between 1 and 1000, and after that the program will print the number of times each number has occurred. So I have used an array here with the size 1000 specified and the scanner class object in order to take the input from the user. I have taken inputs using the do while loop, and the do while loop will execute at least once, so it will take at least one input from the user, and it will continue to take inputs unless the user has entered 0, because as it was mentioned in the question that the user input will be terminated after the user has entered 0. So how it will count the number of occurrences of the number? So for example, if the user has entered 5, then it will increase the value at array position 5 from initially 0 to 1. So if 5 again occurs in the numbers that user has entered, then it will increase the count that was 1 initially, then it will be increased to 2. So it will be added 1 here. So this will be the same for all the numbers, not only 5. And after that the array has been populated, we will print the array using the for loop, and I have used the conditions here. For example, the first condition is the array at position I at the specific position should not be equal to 0, because if it's equal to 0, that means the user has not entered that number and that number does not exist, and it should not be printed, so it will skip that iteration. So after that, if the number at position is not equal to 0, it will move into the block, and then it will check if the number at position has count greater than 1. That means the number has occurred more than 1 times. Then it will print times, otherwise it will print time, as it was mentioned in the question. Moving on, no, before moving on, let's run this program. 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 2, 2. Oh, I forgot to enter 0. So here we go. 2 occurred 3 times, 5 occurred 3 times, 20 occurs 1 time, and 22 occurs 1 time. So let's give it one more run. 1, 0, 1 occurs 1 time. One more time. 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, and 0. 12 occurs 3 times. 14 occurs 1 time. Oh, I typed 41 instead of 14. Never mind. But then 15 occurs 1, 2, and 3 times, and 41 occurs 1 time. So moving on to the next question now. The next question is the rectangle, and the rectangle has two double fields, width and height, with default values 3.0 and 4.0 respectively. And after that, there are no argument constructor to create a default rectangle object, and then a parameterized rectangle constructor that will create a rectangle object with specified width and height, then the getters for width and height and the setters for width and height, and then the get parameter method that will return the parameter of the rectangle, get area method that will return the area of the rectangle, and the override into string method in order to print the object as a string as specified in the question. Moving on to the main method. First, I have taken input with the scan object. The first input is the width, then the height, then moving on, it's the color, and if it's filled or not. If the triangle is filled or not, it will be either true or false. So after that, after we have taken all the inputs from the user, then we create a rectangle object using the width and height using the parameterized constructor. And then also this class inherits from geometric shape class. So as down here we have used the geometric shape class methods in order to set the color and to set the filled value of the rectangle. If the rectangle is filled or not, this is a boolean value and this is a string value. After all this has been set, I have used println statements in order to print all the things that were mentioned in the question: the area of the rectangle, the parameter, the color, and if the triangle is filled or not. So let's run this program. So width of the rectangle, then height of the rectangle, then color orange and true. So here we go. Let's run it one more time. width of rectangle, then height of rectangle, color false. Here we go again. As expected, the outputs are correct. Width of rectangle now 85.369. Color pink. True. Here it is. Output as expected. Moving on to the last question. This question was a GUI question, and here I have created first the two check boxes, snap to grid, then the three buttons, the OK button, the cancel button, and the help button, and then the fields, the label first, the X label and with its text field, the Y label with its text field, and then the panel in order to group the components into one. So after creating the panel, I've added all the components to the panel, and after creating the panel, I've created the J-frame and added the panel to the J-frame, added the title to the J-frame, the sizes and all the necessary conditions, the methods, and here the most important one, the set visible, so it's visible. So let's run it. So this is the output of this program.